Well, Joseph Hamilton Clancy, the big 5-0. Ugh, guess that means I must be getting old too. So, first, let me start with the requisite happy birthday. I'm quite proud. You're halfway there, halfway to 100. Very exciting, and I'll be right behind you in, I guess, 14 months. So, let's see. I need to come up with some. The challenge here was I was supposed to come up with a story. And at one point, I thought of 50 stories for 50 years, but I felt that that would probably take too long. So I figured I'll just rattle off some stories. And for all of Joe's friends there, I won't go into too much detail in each one. I'll just kind of go bam, 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 so you just get the stories. Because with Joe, he's one of these people where there are a lot of stories. Okay, so I just got to go through them quickly. All right, so let's start high school. So as you probably don't know, Joseph was called Smokin' Joe. And the reason he was called Smokin' Joe was all his friends thought he always seemed high. Now, Joe actually did not smoke marijuana at all in high school, but the way he kind of hung around and was always kind of dreamy, they always thought he was high. So this kind of, the coup d'etat of this reputation that Smokin' Joe had was he was at a party that his friend Ronnie Yeager was throwing, sitting in the living room. There's people inside and outside. They had a sliding glass door. It was closed at the time, but Joseph was unaware that the door was closed. So Joseph got up to go outside, and now, at that, we're in New Orleans, so, high school, people drank, but Joe didn't drink. So Joe wasn't drinking or anything. But Joe got up, goes to walk outside, walks smack into the plate glass window, like at full force, having no idea it was there. Needless to say, it gave everyone at the party a good laugh. All right, so now let's see. We'll go back to younger years, and this is one that I don't remember, but it's been told over and over and over again. So it has to be told. Joseph evidently did not allow me to talk for many years. He talked for me. He answered the questions. He told my parents what I'd want to eat, and took care of that for me. Eventually, I did learn to speak, and I've been compensating ever since. But Joseph liked to control things. Although I will say, then I got older, and eventually I got bigger than Joseph, and Joseph did not like that. So, but he's dealt with it well. So let's see. Let me go through a few more stories. So let's see. There was the time that Joe had this girl that he kind of liked. I guess her name was Gwen. And we hung out a lot, Joe and I. And we were doing theater together. We were in a summer play together. And Gwen decided she didn't like the fact that I hung around a bunch. So she was throwing a party, but she explicitly didn't invite me. She told everyone else, it was a whole group of people who did theater together, all knew each other. She explicitly didn't invite me to the party, and she kind of kept it a secret from me. Now, Joseph, who kind of liked her, they weren't going out though. He knew she didn't invite me, but he didn't say anything about it. And then a number of our friends, or I should say my friends, they told me, well, Gwen didn't invite you. She didn't want to invite you. I said, what? And so they decided not to go to the party in protest. Now, my brother, he decided to go to the party. And not only did he go to the party, so he went to the party, and then my dad told him he had to be home at like 11 o'clock or so, and Joseph didn't like that. It might have been midnight, actually. But the party was still going, so Joseph came home, and he came in, and he said, all right, well, I'm going up to bed. And Joseph walked up the stairs, didn't miss a beat, didn't really go into his bedroom. He literally walked up the stairs, went into my father's office, opened the door, went out on the balcony, jumped down off the balcony, and walked back to the party. So an hour or two later, my dad's looking for Joseph. He went upstairs. He looked in his bed. He wasn't there. He said, Joseph, where's Joseph? I said, I think he went back to Gwen's party. So my dad went to Gwen's party and knocked on the door at 1:30. And he knocks on the door and said, well, I'm Joseph's father. Is Joseph here? And Joseph, of course, was sitting there and was rather embarrassed that his father came and got him and came on home. So let's see. Another story. Here's another story. Joseph I had a car when I was a Duke. Joseph, he just started driving right around then, and we were going to ride back home, and he was going to drive some in my car I had, and he had just started driving, and he was still developing as a driver. He's developed quite well as a driver, but at that point, since he didn't start driving until he was like 18, he was still developing as a driver. So it was late at night on the highway. There were cones in the middle of the road. Joe was avoiding the cones, um, and was kind of halfway on the shoulder. And I was in the back seat, and we were driving on the highway, driving home from North Carolina to New Orleans. And I look up, and I see the middle of a bridge staring right in front of our car, like 50 or 100 feet away. And I said, "Joe, the bridge!" He said, What? And Mike D'Antonio grabbed the steering wheel to try and avoid the bridge. And then the car started fishtailing, not really fishtailing, it's in the front. It was fishtailing. It was going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. I said, "Joe, hit the brakes." Well, eventually the car grabbed, smashed. We ran into the edge of the bridge. Now, at this point, the car hit the bridge and was rolling back. I thought it was rolling over the bridge. It really wasn't. It was fine. I jumped out. I said, "Joe, are you okay? Are you okay?" Joseph, turns out, was fine. He had a seatbelt. I was in the back. Did not have a seatbelt. I flew forward, broke the windshield, had blood streaming down my face. So why am I telling you this story about Joseph? So then we're at home some week later, okay, or 5 or 6 days later, and I had this big bandage over my head that like covered like half my eye and made me look all real tough and all. And we decided to play some basketball. Of course, Joe and I played a lot of basketball growing up. For a long time, we were close, and then I got better as I got older. And so we decided to play horse. And I said, "Well, Joe, for every shot I take, you get to take two." Okay? So he got 2 shots to my 1. And I beat him in horse. And then after I beat him in horse, and now I had this big bandage, I had a few hundred stitches in my head, and I beat him in horse. Joe said, oh, it's because my wrist hurts a little from the accident. Yeah, his wrist. All right, let's see. So many stories. Visit me at Duke. No, I won't go through that one. Just seeing which other ones pop into my mind. Well, I have one more, but I'm going to tell that in another recording. So I'm going to end this recording and wish everybody a happy birthday for my brother Joe. And I hope that you all have a great time. Joe, I wish you the best.